Have you ever thought about all of the HTV craft ideas that you could make with glow-in-the-dark HTV? Yes, that's right. This HTV that looks white during the day turns into a beautiful, bright glowing HTV when the sun goes down, and it's super cool. My name is Alex Vanover with DIY Alex, and I'm so glad that you guys are here. I know you probably think of glow-in-the-dark HTV for something like Halloween, and I love Halloween and all of those crafting possibilities, but I want to show you a really fun tutorial on making camping gear that glows in the dark using HTV. So let's get into it. So you might normally think of glow-in-the-dark projects specifically for Halloween, and that is a super fun way to use glow-in-the-dark vinyl and HTV. But another use that I found for glow-in-the-dark HTV that I love is making it to go on shirts for camping. Because you're outside in the dark a lot, it's really cool to see your shirt light up as it gets dark, and it's just really neat. So I'm going to be making a camping project today, and this is actually an image that I found here in Cricut Design Space. So since I didn't import anything, I'll go ahead and save this project and link it for you guys down in the description below. If you want to use this exact same Design Space project, you're more than welcome to open it up and share it. You can also follow my DIY Alex profile here in Design Space if you search for me in the search bar, because I share lots of projects and other things that I make from the files in Design Space. So normally I size my files about 10 inches by 10 inches for a large size adult shirt, but since I'm working with a hoodie and it's got this outer ring, that's going to make the text and the images inside a little bit smaller. So I sized this one 11 inches by 11 inches instead. Next, we'll click the green Make It button to proceed through our project. And with glow-in-the-dark HTV, just like any other type, you do want to be sure to check the mirror button so that it cuts into the backside of the HTV. Then we'll click the green Continue button, and that will take us to the Make It screen. Now, the cut setting that I have found to work best with my glow-in-the-dark HTV is the everyday iron-on setting with just regular default pressure. But if you have never cut glow-in-the-dark HTV before, I do recommend doing a test cut to make sure that you're not wasting a bunch of material in case your cut setting needs to be adjusted. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this project and weed it, and I'll actually meet you guys over at my heat press so I can show you how to press glow-in-the-dark HTV. However, if you need more help with Design Space, with the basics of cutting and weeding HTV, I'll stick a video for you up here in the corner of the screen to show you all the things you need to know, since this is a briefer tutorial. Let me cut this and I'll see you guys in a moment. So after your design is cut and weeded, the next step is to preheat your heat source. So for Caesar glow-in-the-dark HTV, the recommended settings are 305 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds at medium pressure. So my heat press is already preheated to all of those settings, and we are ready to go. Now I'm gonna be pressing my HTV on a hoodie today, so that is a little bit different than a t-shirt, and I'll teach you some of my tips and tricks for pressing HTV on hoodies. But one thing that I did to get started is I took my HTV and I folded it with the non-sticky sides together, and then I created a seam all the way down the center of the decal. And that's not going to hurt anything when it comes to actually pressing, but what that does is it gives me a line down my HTV that I can utilize to make sure that it's centered on my hoodie. Now, centering designs on hoodies can be really, really tricky, but that's why I like to utilize the center design. And a lot of times what I like to do is line it up in relationship with the pocket, because the neckline is going to move around a little bit, so you're not as concerned about the neckline with hoodies. It's more about the pocket. So I'm going to place it while it's here on my heat press, and then I'll pick it up and show you guys here in just a moment. So I'm going to place it a couple inches below the neckline, but also a couple inches above the pocket. And it looks like I'm a little to the left, so I do want to scoot it over just a little bit. And I think that that looks great. So once I pull it off the heat press, you can see that the distance between the design and the pocket and the design and the neckline, I know you can't really see it up here at the top, is about equidistant. Now that's only probably because of the size of this hoodie, so keep in mind that the size of your design with the size of your hoodie, that may be a little bit different than mine. But basically I'm centering it in between the neckline and the pocket on the hoodie itself. Another thing I'm gonna be doing is utilizing my Cricut Easy Press mat as my pressing pillow for this project, because pressing pillows are super helpful with HTV since they have pockets and they have strings that we need to move out of the way and all kinds of other things. My pressing pillow is not big enough for my hoodie, so So, or because it wouldn't cover my full design. So that's why I'm going to be using my Cricut Easy Press mat. Something else to keep in mind when you are pressing hoodies on heat presses is that you want to ensure that the hoodie, like the hood itself and all the strings and everything are off the back of the heat press. Unless you want to press backwards, they just need to be off the platen so that they're not messing up any pressure. So I'm going to scoot my stuff around until it's exactly where I want it. And then I will place my pressing pillow. So the hoodie pocket probably won't be completely off of the platen, but that's okay because I'm going to have my pressing pad to raise up the HTV so it still gets plenty of great pressure. So now I'm going to put the pressing pad underneath where I want it. And I have the 12-inch by 12-inch pressing pad, by the way. So it's larger than my 11-inch by 11-inch design. So I'm just feeling to make sure that the edges of my pressing pillow are all the way underneath my full design. So now that my pressing pillow is underneath my design, I'll press the entire thing at 305 degrees for 15 seconds using medium pressure. Now keep in mind, you may end up having to adjust your pressure if you have a hoodie and a pressing pillow in your heat press, because the thicker everything is on the bottom of your heat press, the higher your pressure is going to be. So even if you set it a little bit lower, that may increase the pressure a little bit. So we'll give it a second so that it's cool to the touch. Now I can see a slight fold in my HTV from where I folded the carrier sheet. So I'm going to remove my pressing pillow and then I'm just going to do one more really quick press to get rid of any of those lines. If that ever happens to you from texture or anything like that, you can just do a quick final press that's just like 2 or 3 seconds. And that will get rid of any unwanted lines. There we go, much better. So now I can carefully pull my hoodie off of my heat press and show you guys the final result. So here's how it turned out. One of the reasons I love working with glow-in-the-dark HTV is because by day it just looks like regular white HTV, nothing fancy, but as soon as the sun goes down and it gets dark, it glows super bright. Honestly, every time I work with glow-in-the-dark HTV, I'm always impressed with how long it glows. What crafts are you gonna make using glow-in-the-dark HTV? Let me know down in the comments below. If you learned something in this video, be sure to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to DIY Alex for more video tutorials just like this one every single Tuesday. And I love getting to know each and every one of you. So if we're not already connected on social media, then be sure to find me at DIY Alex Vanover on all your favorite social media platforms. All the hearts.